definitely not in there. And that's probably, I would say, probably the most.
Should have been number one, right?
Yeah, that's definitely the most. Well, I mean, again, we're not ranking these, but yeah, if you want to look at probably the most.
If we were, that one would maybe be number one.
Well, and there even though you look at the actual total number of victims, which I don't know exactly I think we had maybe what 3, 4 different legit accusers, I guess you could say in that situation.
Yeah, I mean alleged victims.
Yeah,
because he had that kind of money.
But there's also the just the fact that he surrounded himself with children at all points in time, and there's no telling how many he was able to pay off, how many he was able to, look, there may have been a bunch of children that were hanging out there in the background and, not really doing much of nothing. Not having any interaction with them. They're just hanging out with their friends or whatever,
And Macaulay Culkin never said anything.
Macaulay,
so the parents, I think some of the parents had to have been complicit in allowing it to go on, right? I mean, if that was true, and it was ever, if any, and people write books and stuff, but if it was ever found that any of the parents were complicit, right, it'd be explosive,
You know what? Do you remember the movie? It was actually the movie that came out after Borat, the one that Sacha Baron Cohen, where he played the gay TV announcer from Germany, Bruno. Did you ever see Bruno?
I did.
Yeah.
There is a scene in Bruno where he parodies it's not really a parody. These are actual real parents. And he sets this very very off the rails photo shoot. And it's in Hollywood, and he's apparently connected or this, that, and the other. And these parents come in and they're selling their children to be in photos of them, on the cross and stuff like that. Wow. And just straight up, just as long as my baby. And that was it. It hit so close to home, and it was so jarring of an image. I think it kind of also cost them a few fans. That movie is pretty tough to watch in some spots. And part of it is a lot of the sight gags and stuff like that. But also too, it underscores the fact that Hollywood parents, and we've seen this happen time and time and time again, that Hollywood parents really just don't care about any of the moralities of it as long as their baby's in the picture, And I think that's kind of what we're talking about here.
It could be massive money too, right? I mean, if Michael Jackson was worth so much money, he could spread it around. I mean, for your amusement.
Yeah, and you've got your child is over at Michael Jackson's house, and he may have a video and want to use the child in it. I mean, let's let him go off and hang out. He's Michael Jackson. What could happen at Michael Jackson's house? He's got a zoo there. It's for the kids. It's for the kids. Jesus juice.
Jesus juice, right?
Jesus juice. Just a little Jesus juice, and we'll just tuck you in bed.
Sorry.
I'm just gonna snuggle up to you.
Hashtag Jesus juice.
Yeah.
That's pretty heavy. Now, some of the things that seem salacious today might not have seemed as salacious at one time, but in the case of Jerry Lee Lewis, obviously he was with his cousin, but people got married at 14 years old.
Yeah, he kept it in the family, and we have to commend him just for that.
Well, and we kind of, and also too, a lot of these others that happened in the 60s and in the 70s were men that were raised from that generation, where their mothers were married off at 14, 15, 16 years old.
Exactly. You just stole my thunder, because I'm not trying to take up for this for a lot of the people that have been accused, but it was a different culture back then, and and the parents of the kids were a lot of the problems.
Have you ever seen that?
As late as 2000, South Carolina, as late as 2000, it was legal to marry at 14, parental consent.
Mm-hmm. And I think Alabama wasn't that far ahead of them, if I remember correctly. I can't remember. I think I want to say it was in the 60s, maybe.
Hell, you got to be 18 to get a tattoo with you got to be 17 to get a tattoo with parental consent, right?
Hey, you got to be 21 years old to buy cigarettes now. Isn't that a trip?
Huh. Well, I never had no problems, but I lived in the land of tobacco.
But I mean, no, but I mean, no, the person the person that's checking you out, they risk a fine and jail time and all sorts of crazy stuff now that just didn't exist. We all knew
Yeah.
that the one guy down at the corner store on the other end of town that would sell to the kids,
And
and
you
it was
know
just
what?
an open secret that even the police knew,
So I know y'all have all seen somebody get carded that was clearly like in their 60s, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You know why that happens, right?
because they know that they.
Because they've seen Bad Grandpa.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's
This
why.
is true.
That's why. Or sorry, let's just go back to the originating Jackass, which is where it originated.
Yeah.
So
Give credit where credit's due.
what about
That was a great character. I'm really shocked that it took them that long to make a movie about it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Now, do people get permanent injuries from Jackass?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
but
I mean, have
can
you
from
ever
jacking off.
have you ever been in a porta john that was lifted by a crane and then had poo all over you and dropped?
No, but that'd be psychologically scarring, actually, if you ask me.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a scar. A psychological scar is a scar. A
Shannon,
scar is
have
a
you ever
scar is a
taken a
scar.
shit? Have you ever taken a shit in a toilet that didn't have any plumbing hooked to it?
Oh yeah, if you want to talk about an outhouse, we had a double holer though. We was high class. We had
I
two,
mean,
like,
I know
plumbing.
y'all remember. I know y'all remember the scene in the first Jackass where the
Yeah.
guy went into the plumbing store and took a shit in a toilet that had no plumbing hooked to it.
Now I had on job sites where that has happened. Yes,
Oh God.
where I have uncrated a toilet and then went to lunch and then came back and it had a turd or had some piss in it.
Oh my god, that's awful.
No
Yeah.
water either, right? Just a dry
And,
turd.
well, you have to. What happens in that situation? You have to take it outside. You have to put a 5-gallon bucket through it, and usually your helper. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, that's happened because then it goes through the toilet. It's out on the driveway there, and you got to do something with it.
You see in
Just
platoon where they drag
you
in the
just
movie
mash it
platoon
into
where
the
they,
ground, dude. That's all you can do.
Well,
at
and
that point.
that's what that's a rookie mistake is putting it out on the driveway. You first couple times of that and having to hose the driveway off with a really angry female homeowner there. It's a bad scene. Any way you want to look at it.
All right,
So you take that off in the grass.
somebody pull this list up and let's go down this list